It is 4 p.m. We're bringing developing news.
And the stories behind the headlines, this is StoryCon numbers you later.
I'm Ed Lingao. Some stores are watching this Tuesday, June 9. Malacanang confirms that President Bongbong Marcos will visit areas in Mindanao affected by the magnitude 7.8 earthquake. The palace has yet to provide the exact schedule or the specific locations the president will visit. The death toll from the tremor has climbed to 37 with 479 people injured. Thousands have also been displaced by the powerful tremor, with businesses and schools at a standstill in hardest hit areas like General Santos City.
Senator Tito Soto says that the NBI has cited a, quote, very serious threat to the security at the Senate. He said this is considered a clear and present danger based on intelligence reports. Earlier, Senate President Pro Tempore Win Gatchalian said he will meet with the Executive Committee and the Office of the Senate Sergeant at Arms to implement necessary security adjustments. Aside from the alleged security threat to the Senate, Senator Ping Lacson said he has also received additional information pointing to supposed frustration within the armed services.
Manila Congressman Benny Abante has filed libel and cyber libel complaints before the DOJ against the 18 alleged bagmen of Zaldico, their lawyer Lubito Baligod, and broadcaster DWSI 864. The complaints stem from allegations linking Abante to the alleged distribution of suitcases containing cash, claims that he strongly denies. Abante says he had no transactions or involvement in the alleged cash deliveries and questioned the credibility of the accusations for lack of specific details and evidence.
Former Police Lieutenant Colonel Rafael Dumlao III was arrested in Quezon City this morning. Dumlao was convicted in connection to the 2016 kidnapping, extortion, carnapping, and killing of South Korean businessman Ji Ik-ju inside Camp Crame. He was found guilty in September of 2024 after the Court of Appeals reversed a lower court ruling and sentenced him to reclusion perpetua or lifetime imprisonment without eligibility for parole. And joining us today is StoryCon's resident political
Perpetrator pa rin.
unpaid hack. But he loves that term. So unpaid hack, Ronald Llamas.
Bumati ka na.
Happy Tuesday po. Medyo bigla ako sumulpot dito dahil nagpaalam ako dahil akala ko hindi ako makakaabot.
O, buti nakabot ka.
Kaabot ako pero napagalitan pa rin ako.
So kasi, ayan o, sabay tingin sa relo.
Dito kasi wala ka lang gagawin tama.
I'm just saying, ano ba ang usapan? Di ba?
Ayan. Hindi pa tapos.
Saka naman lulugar niya.
Hindi pa tapos.
Di ba ang usapan pag nagbabasa na kami ng headlines? Late na yun.
Yeah.
Ikaw talaga, doon ka sa presinto.
Dun sa presinto.
Guilty as charged.
Guilty as charged. We don't have Ami Pamintuan this week.
But you have Ronald Llamas.
So we have Ronald Llamas.
That makes up for an entire barangay.
Yun na lang nakayanan. Magtsagaan nyo na.
Ano, Bok? Anong balita? But meron ka na namang niloloko ngayon.
Ha?
May security threat sa Senado, according to intelligence reports received by SP Pro Tempore Win Gatchalian, affirmed by Senator Ping Lacson. Although what these threats are, we're not sure. But the NBI is investigating.
Sa ngayon kasi parang arena of contestation itong Senado in more ways than one. So dapat naman ay whether merong threat o wala, kailangan nilang i-secure ng maayos.
Of course.
Nung nakaraan nga, na-secure na nila ng libo-libong pulis, may nakatakas pa rin.
Of course.
So, kailangan nila mag-level up in terms of security. Kung hindi, ay baka sumabog sa mukha nila ito in more ways than one.
What about the reports na may maaaring mangyari sa June 12? Is that still a go?
I think so. May mga nagpaplano pa rin ng malaking mobilization. Kung ano yung purpose ng malaking mobilization, siyempre ay hindi nila sasabihin, pero merong relasyon yan doon sa mga kaso ng mga senador at itong labanan sa leadership ng Senado. No? Pero kung saan nila dadali niya, anong end goal, ay hindi pa ganun kalinaw.
But has anybody already announced plans for June 12? Any particular group?
Yung gobyerno,
iba naman
meron
yun.
sila sa Luneta. Pero mukhang itong mga grupong ito, nagpaplano din sa Luneta. So that is clearly a confrontation between government people na magsa-celebrate ang Independence Day at yung mga ibang puwersa na for now may planong disruption dahil dito sa nangyayari sa Senado. At merong klarong kinakampihan na grupo dito sa labanan sa Senado.
Luneta, ang lapit sa Malacanang.
Yes.
Tawid ka lang ng Ayala Boulevard eh.
Yes. Kaya siguro,
Yellow Bridge.
3 days ago, nagkaroon ng command meeting yung mga security forces
Sa
ng
Krame.
gobyerno sa Krame.
Pero si John Vic says that that's a regular, although parang galing sa kuweba, no?
Hindi. Malamang, tanggapin na natin at face value yung paliwanag ng Secretary of the Interior. No? Kung yun ang kanyang sinabi, talagang regular. Sino ba naman tayo para kontrahin yun?
Exactly.
With a straight face,
Hindi ko na nga dadagdagan. Last night at there was an event marking the 128th Philippine Independence Day and the 51st anniversary of diplomatic relations between the Philippines and China. One of the guests of honor was Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, who, by the way, was introduced as Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano. Coming back to the power struggle that you're talking about.
Parang kanya na, parang foreign intervention. Alam naman ng China na merong...
Baka yung script kasi matagal na na-prepare. Tapos hindi na-edit in time. So, ang pagkaka-introduce pa rin ng MC is Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano. No? No?
Okay.
I didn't make it to that event, so hindi ko na
Okay.
Parang kayo, meron kayong mga inumin, ako wala.
Parang nag-speech pa si
Yes, he gave
Senate
us
President Alan Peter.
he gave a speech, tapos nagkwento pa siya ng parable.
Parable, di ba?
Correct. Hindi ko, although,
Kaso yung nakikinig sa kanya, yung communist, yung Chinese embassy, mga kanya mga komunista.
Talaga?
Hindi naniniwala
Talaga?
sa mga parables.
Mali mo, naniwala sila sa parables.
Sabi nila, these are the opium of the people.
Ikaw naman.
Opium of the masses.
Di ba?
Even China has a vibrant, if not
Hindi pa siya-
independent Catholic Church.
Hindi pa siya
independent of the Vatican.
officially recognized.
Yeah.
Meron pa silang negotiations. Dahil ang gusto yata ng China, papayagan namin yan, pero kami ang may final say sa mga obispo.
You're talking about the Catholic Church
The
of China.
Catholic Church, oo. Yun ang nego ng China. Papayagan namin yan, pero hindi pwedeng hindi nyo kami kausapin kung sino yung mapopromote ng mga obispo. Siyempre, for now, hindi naman pumapayag ang simbahan.
Because the Vatican is a state of its own.
Actually, yung negotiator ng Vatican ay kilala nyo.
Sino?
Si Cardinal Tagle.
Uy.
Siya yung nagle-negotiate for the Vatican sa Communist Party of China.
So, at ano naman tayo, we come back to the huge power struggle at the Senate, which still is unclear at this point how it will resolve itself.
Pero parang nare-resolve na ng konti dahil yung official documents na ng Senate
Signed by Win Gatchalian.
ay senador na lang si Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. Kalawa ay
Although
medyo
he's-
umaatras si Kwan dahil humihingi na siya ng from term sharing to signature sharing.
You know what? He's still posting si Senator Cayetano. He still is posting and contesting everything that, for example, meron siyang statement that was posted 44 minutes ago that said, statement of Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano on the alleged threats to the security of the Senate. And in it, he was basically questioning why that information of the alleged threats was shared only with some senators and not the others. And bakit daw only some people knew about it and everyone else had to find out, through public means. Every individual who works within these walls deserve to be informed and protected, is what he said.
Halimbawa, itong mga bills na ipapasa ng Congress, ng lower house, sa Senado, kanino ba nila ibibigay? Halimbawa, itong sisimulang budget process, no? So, depende yan kung sino yung kikilalanin.
Pala, in about 2 months, we're into the budget process already.
So, magkakaroon na dyan ng de facto at saka de jure recognition
Matagal pa naman
sa proseso na yan. Hindi, pero magkakaroon ka na ng SONA eh. So, dapat masettle na lahat ng bagay na yan.
Tingin mo, abutin pa ng SONA to? Malamang hindi.
Hindi nga. Ang sinasabi ko, dapat yan masettle na long before the SONA.
Ronald thinks si Senator Cayetano is slowly softening. I'm not seeing the same signs. I mean, I know you think yung signature sharing is one, but he seems like he's still standing his ground.
Well, kailangan niyang i-maintain yun eh.
Maintain the illusion that he's standing his ground, na pinaglalaban niya yung posisyon.
Kailangan niya i-maintain yun. Pero may mga move siya like itong signature sharing, no? Itong mag-usap sila, no? Itong, what was that about? So, medyo, nakakaramdam siya ng isolation. Dahil na, kung sino i-recognize ng executive, sino i-recognize ng lower house,
That's who has the power.
that will settle the issue. Ngayon, pwede siyang magsampa ng waranto sa Supreme Court. Either hindi makialam ang Supreme Court or it will
Matagal.
take time.
Yeah.
In the meantime, kung sino i-recognize na executive tsaka lower house, yun yung magiging Senate leadership, di ba?
Why do you sound so subdued today?
Ha? Medyo may halo ko sa ulo, di ba?
Parang something happened again. No?
Di ba? Parang,
He's on a roller coaster. Minsan masayang-masaya because something happened.
Pag nakikinig ako sa mga taong greater than me, talagang I feel so subdued.
Okay, let's now bring in our mobile journalist, Marimon Reyes, who is, of course, as usual, standing by the Senate. Marimon, what's going on over there?
Good afternoon. So far, dito sa loob ng Senate building, medyo tahimik pa at wala namang sessions sa John Diaz sila. Wala rin committee hearing so far. And what we observed was ever since nabanggit nga ni Senator Sherwin Gatchalian na sinabi ni NBI Director Melvin Matibag na may info on possible security threats dito sa Senado, ang napansin natin sa labas ng Senate gates, lumabas na ulit yung mga wires, yung pagsarado ng gate, kumbaga yung checkpoint ng mga sasakyan na papasok, nakasara, nandoon muna talaga siya sa labas ng gate, hindi siya maaaring pumasok until hindi nakikilala or nalalaman ng security officers kung ano ang pakay nila, kung staff ba sila dito or bisita. Sa kahabaan ng Chocno Boulevard, nandun pa rin yung presence ng pulis na ever since nandoon yung mga nagrarally, nagpaprotesta. Ito yung mga supporters ni Vice President Sara Duterte, supporting Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, they are anti-impeachment. Ito yung grupo na nagpakita the night ng pagpapakita sa Senado ni Senator Bato de la Rosa. Sabi kasi ng mga yun, hindi raw sila aalis hanggat hindi raw nagkakaroon ng pag-aayos sa issue na nangyayari dito sa Senado. So nandyan sila, ang pulis nandyan pa rin. Pero so far, wala pa namang presence ng possible lockdown. Pero ang nasabi dyan ng ilang majority block senator, sina Senator Tito Soto, seryoso raw itong threat na to, kaya kailangan talaga bigyan ng seryosong atensyon at pagbibigay ng guidelines. Ang nasabing huli ni Senate President Pro Tempore Sherwin Gatchalian, actually kanina pa namin siya tinatry i-reach out, pero ongoing daw yung meetings niya, puro closed door meetings ito. So ito yung sinasabi ni Gatchalian na makikipag-usap daw siya sa Office of the Sergeant at Arms at ang NBI din may kipag-coordinate din daw para ma-ensure na itong intel regarding possible security threats or kung may gulumang mangyayari dito ay hindi raw mangyayari. Balik sa inyo.
so, Marimon, you mean magmula ng May 13, hindi pa sila umaalis dyan? Akala, although I do remember, nung gabing yun, sabi nila, walang uwian, walang iwanan. So,
Nandito pa rin sila, Bok. Sila yung since last month na. Ang ano natin, nandyan pa rin talaga sila. Kaya, pero ang nangyayari kasi, pagka umaga, nililigpit muna nila yung stage nila, yung props nila, yung mga karatula nila. mamayang mga hapon paggabi, usually doon na sila nagsa-start talaga ng programa nila. Nagkakaroon sila ng candle lighting na program. And then, doon patuloy pa rin naman daw yung kanilang pangangantsaw na ang nakita kasi natin sa mga placards na they are against the impeachment trial. They are pro the resignation of some senators, especially from the majority, yung new majority ngayon. And they are supporting sila Senator Cayetano.
So it's a daily rally, it's not really a vigil.
May
Kumbaga,
mga
nag-uuwian
araw
sila.
kasi na tinatawag nilang nagdadasal daw sila sa gabi, nagka-candle lighting sila. Pero sa mga susunod na araw naman ang programs nila, the usual rally.
I mean, nag-uuwian din sila, pero bumabalik sila for a daily rally. That's what I mean.
Ay,
Hindi
Bok,
sila
ang nasabi
tuloy-tuloy.
sa akin dyan, yung iba, bumabiyahe. So, pwedeng nandito sila ngayon, pwedeng uuwi sila, babalik. Yung iba, dito raw natutulog.
Okay.
It's been nearly a month.
Yeah,
No?
that was May 13 yung shooting eh.
Marimon, I mean, you reported on the alleged security threats that Senator Win Gatchalian and Ping Lacson and also now Alan Peter Cayetano talked about in their public posts. What else do we know about it? We know that the NBI is investigating, but have they found anything? And where did this originally come from, this information?
Actually, minessage ko si Director Matibag. I'm asking for more info regarding that. Kasi even Senator Gatchalian, hindi siya makapag-disclose pa ng any other info related to it. Nor yung possible connection nito sa reports naman na may attacks nga na mangyayari sa gobyerno by June 12 or on June 12. So far, wala pa talaga tayong info regarding that. Pero on the side of Senator Cayetano, ang kine-question niya rin dito is number one, yung bakit hindi raw lahat informed ng mga senador. While kung ang question dito or ang concern dito ay yung safety ng institusyon. And number two, kailan pa raw nangunguna ang NBI pagdating sa ganitong matters of national security? Kumbaga, hinahanap ni Senator Cayetano yung presensya ng militar and whatnot. Pero ang pinakamalinaw na sinasabi naman both sides, kailangan daw magpatuloy ng maayos yung trabaho ng Senado. And that includes yung pagbibigay nila ng assistance sa mga kapatid naman nating apektado ng lindol o nabiktima nga ng lindol sa Mindanao.
My understanding is there is a contingent from the army there, hindi ba?
Marines.
Pala, sorry. Marines, not army. I
So far, wala kasi tayong
part of
nakikita eh. The most na nakita lang natin is OSAA plus police. So, not sure kung hindi ko lang sila nakakasalubong, pero sa paglilibot ko kasi dito sa loob and maging sa Jokno Boulevard, so far,
Usually-
puro police pa lang.
Usually sa labas yun, a squad of Marines.
That's what-
External
yeah.
external security sila.
Yeah, as part of the regular security force of the Senate, ha? Are they asking for more at this point?
Hindi sila kasi crowd control eh. No? So,
Well, there's
iba yung
no new
training ng
info
Marines.
pa so far
Okay.
kasi ang huling nasabi nga, ongoing pa raw yung closed-door meeting si Senator Gatchalian.
Okay.
And hindi pa na nga lang nalilinaw kung sino-sino pa yung kasama sa closed-door meeting na yun.
Okay.
So we have no qualifier at all as to ano yung nature nitong supposed security threat. Any details at all? Any qualifiers?
None so far, Bok. Even si Senator Gatchalian, di pa raw siya makapag-disclose talaga ng other info. Pwera na lang doon nga sa Intel and coming from NBI Director Matibag na may possible security threats nga or attacks na pwedeng mangyari sa Senado.
Tsaka, Ed, kung may details yan, hindi sasabihin sa'yo. Baka kay Manny Mogato pa.
O ano, si Mugs na naman nakita mo.
Tapos ilalabas na naman niya sa post niya, tapos magagalit na naman sa kanya si Browner.
What is the outside of the security threat, Marimon? What is the ano yung latest on this power struggle between Senators Win Gatchalian and Alan Peter Cayetano? I know that Win Gatchalian has already turned down the idea of a signature sharing mechanism, but have there been other overtures to try to resolve this standoff?
Actually, according to Senator Cayetano, may letters si Senator Gatchalian na para ito kay designated Senate Secretary ni Cayetano na si Secretary Jose Luis Montales. And nakalagay doon na hindi na siya in office, in effect si Secretary Ray Bantugna ang technically secretary ng Senado. So kumbaga may transition period na dyan. Pero ang isang nagiging concern kasi ni Cayetano regarding that one is baka raw magkaroon ng pag-iipit pa o maipit yung ibang documents including daw yung pagpapasahod sa mga empleyado. Pero since nagkaroon ng turning down from Senator Gatchalian, ang titingnan na lang natin kung paano dadating sa point na, kasi pinupush ni Senator Cayetano na magiging dalawa silang signatory. Lalo pa, we're also nearing the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. So, bukod dito, may pooling of ropes din sa kung sino ang magsisilbi bilang presiding officer. So far, on the side of the Gatchalian bloc, it's either siya, since acting Senate President siya or presiding officer, or kung meron daw silang itatalagang ibang senador. Pero on the side of the Gatchalian-led bloc, malinaw pa rin sa kanila na sila ang legitimate na may hawak ng Senate leadership. So, we'll wait and see na lang muna talaga. Pero ang sinabi kasi kahapon ni Cayetano, gusto raw muna nilang tutukan yung pag-aabot ng tulong sa Mindanao.
Siguro in relation sa tanong ni Reg, Marymon, itong past few days kasi may escalation eh. Halimbawa, mismo yung Iglesia ni Cristo naglabas ng official statement attacking Blue Ribbon Committee Chair Erwin Tulfo for his attacks on Marcoleta, one of their members. Tapos si Erwin Tulfo nagsalita na kakaladkalin niya si Senate President Quequelyohan, no, si Alan Peter Cayetano. No? At sabi naman ni Robin Hood Padilla ay gugulpihin niya si Erwin Tulfo. No? So may mga ganong klaseng exchanges na dati hindi nangyayari in the hallowed halls of Congress, of the Senate. So nararamdaman mo ba yung ganyang klaseng escalation ng tension ngayon dyan? Sa Senado. Maliban pa dito sa mga tinatawag na mga security threats.
So far, Ronald, yung pinaka-last nating naramdaman kasi yung ganyan was yung waiting game kung magpapakita ba sa session hall itong old majority during that time. Kasi itatlong araw silang hindi nag-hold ng session. Technically, pero yung pangatlong araw, doon na dumating si Senator Chis Escudero, plus pinagpatuloy ng Cayetano-led bloc yung tinatawag nilang hearing ng Blue Ribbon, and dumating dito yung Marines kasi sinundo sila ni Senator Robin Padilla, sinama sa opisina niya, and ang pinaka-challenge dito ni Attorney Levy Baligod is mag-inhibit si Senator Tulfo kasi saan daw nagkaroon ng ng sitwasyon na yung inaakusahan, siya rin daw yung nagsisilbing west sa kaso or yung nagko-conduct ng investigation. Pero on the other hand, ang sabi naman ni Senator Tulfo, mag-i-inhibit daw siya, i-announce niya raw yun kapag nagkaroon na ng hearing. Nung araw na yun sana gagawin, pero dahil naging consultative meeting siya, dahil hindi pa naman fully organized ang Blue Ribbon, i-address na daw yun at a later time kapag nabuo na talaga ang pagdinig. Pero aside from that, so far, naghihintay din tayo ngayon talaga kung ano yung mangyayari. If ever, maybe the next time na makita natin yung magharap-harap talaga ito is kung sakaling magkakaroon na ng special session ang Congress. Kasi yan din yung sinasabi ni Senator Cayetano, kung ano naman daw yung makakatulong sa mga tao, lalo kung may pending legislations daw na kailangan in due time, wala naman daw problema sa kanilang magpatawag ng special session.
Right now, who is physically the Senate Secretary? Is it Montales or Bantug? Sino yung talagang nakaupo ngayon, nakapwesto ngayon sa opisina?
Ay nako, Bok, hindi natin yan maakyat kasi mahigpit sila ngayon kaya hindi tayo makasilip sa mga floor. Pero upon checking, si Attorney Ray Bantug ang in office as Senate Secretary. Kaya lumalabas si Secretary Montales, naging designated secretary siya ni Senator Cayetano. Pero in effect, si Secretary Bantug ngayon ang Senate Secretariat.
But then where is Montales holding office? Di ba? Is he holding office in Cayetano's office? Or kasi as secretary, kahit paano is a bureaucracy. Di ba? So the presumption is that whoever is in control of that bureaucracy controls the administrative side of the Senate.
Bok, that will try to check kasi nga mahigpit, so hindi tayo nakakalapit ngayon. The most that we could reach, kasi nasa taas na floor yung opisina ng secretariat, is pag umakyat ng hagdan, nandun lang. So hindi kami makasilip pa sa loob. Kaya we'll be trying to reach out muna sa opisina.
Yeah. The other thing I want to ask is, when he was here, si Senator Raffy Tulfo was talking about, tell me if I remember this correctly, kung sino mag-preside dun sa impeachment trial, parang may binabanggit si Rafi na impeachment manager.
Yes, dahil binago nila yung rules sa impeachment. Yung Senate kasi can change the rules no, dyan sa impeachment as a trial court. No? Nung nagkaroon ng bagong leadership, binago nila yung rules. Ibig sabihin, hindi necessarily yung Senate President ang magiging presiding officer.
But,
So maglalagay
have
sila ng presiding officer, no? Pipili sila, tapos yung presiding officer ay merong kausap na parang manager.
Impeachment manager.
Parang lumalabas siya si pro temp, no? Pro temp. So magiging parang tag team yung presiding officer at saka yung manager. At yung manager, mas yung mga ibang detalye dito sa impeachment, yung mas ang kukunin nila isang abogado.
But have they already changed the rules? Kasi the last time I
Yes.
checked yung Senate
They
rules
did.
on impeachment,
They already changed the rules.
Since when?
Yeah, nung nagkwan sila.
Nung nag-convene?
nag-convene sila.
Hindi, nag-convene lang sila that day. We didn't see them making amendments to their rules.
Ang sabi nila, binago na nila yung rules.
But yun nga, may naman, baka we can also check on that. Kasi,
I-check lang yung minutes. Paano alam ko, ang sabi nila, nagbago na sila ng rules.
Kasi it might still be a proposal lang. Yung changing the rules of the Senate is medyo a long drawn out thing eh. And we saw that nga happen nung pinagtatalunan yung online voting eh.
Parang ginamit nila yung kanilang majority to change the rules.
But yeah, can you check on, kasi if I remember right, in the Constitution, it only provides that the Chief Justice presides over the impeachment of the President. Pero no mention in the Constitution as to who presides in the impeachment of other officials. But in the last Senate rules that were passed for the impeachment, I think this was way back panahon pa ni Corona.
Yes.
The Senate rules provided that the presiding officer is the Senate President.
Yes.
Baka we can check if they have made any amendments to that and when the amendment was made. Kasi may binabanggit nga si Rafi Tulfo when he was here last week na they were looking at having an impeachment manager to assist the presiding officer, which is something new, something very new. Ako, doon ko lang narinig yun eh. So, meron na bang ganun sa rules? At,
Actually, ang
ang
pagkakasabi nila, hindi yan kinakailangan i-formalize. Ang finormalize nila ay the presiding officer is not necessarily the Senate President. Yun yung,
And in-adopt nila yun eh. Yun yung Senate Resolution 430.
ayun.
Ano yan? 430 to what effect?
Amending Rule number 2 ng existing rules of procedure on impeachment trials. So nakalagay doon, the Senate, yun yung inamend nila, yung explicitly stating that the Senate President should preside in all other cases of impeachment except when the President of the Philippines is on trial.
Yeah.
So yung case din nito, it was adopted, the resolution, sa Senate floor nung Wednesday na yon with 12 senators present na nakabuo nung quorum nila.
Okay, so that's the one that
Yun
we're
yung
looking
sinasabi,
for.
yun yung sinasabi ko.
Yes.
Okay. Can you, what was that resolution? 430? What does it say?
430.
What does it say, in effect? It provides for an alternate...
Ito na yung it will be
mechanism.
allowing another senator to be elected by a majority vote of members present as presiding officer of the impeachment court.
Okay.
As presiding officer, so it does not necessarily have to be the Senate President himself or herself.
Kaya ang sabi ni Senator Gatchalian, it's either siya raw, since pro temp siya or acting presiding officer, or kung mapapag-usapan na raw ng mga senador na may iba raw silang ilalagay.
And is there a name that's surfacing right now? I mean, meron kami mga naririnig dito, but I wonder if you've heard anything to that effect. Kung sino yung potentially na maging presiding officer ng impeachment trial.
Dalawa lang kasi yung abogado. So they're going to choose to sa dalawa na yon. Either si Kiko or si Cheese.
Vera Files has been writing about Cheese being
Cheese.
selected already.
Yeah.
Yes.
What have you heard, Merimon?
So far, no names were dropped yet. Pero ang isang kinoconsider nila dito ay kung yung level daw ng kaalaman on the legal side. So ang isa sa lumulutang nga na name is si Senator Kiko Pangilinan.
Yeah. Kailangan mo kasi ng abogado kahit paano eh. I mean, it's a political exercise, but it's still also a trial eh.
Yes.
So you can't just say na ito'y gusto. You have
Kaya-
to follow a process eh.
Halimbawa, namumuro si Cheese, pero syempre, hindi rin maganda yung optics kung si Mr. Fortwith yung magko-convene. o yung
I knew the word gonna
magka-preside.
come up. I knew babalik na naman yung fourth.
So, yung optics ang isang mahalaga rin dyan. Hindi lang yung legal expertise
Ay,
ng presiding officer.
Okay.
Tapos para may role pa rin yung acting Senate President, yung pro temp. Siya yung magiging parang trial manager.
Okay, we'll let you go. Balitaan mo kami if you hear anything. Thanks so much for your reporting. Marimon Reyes live from the Senate.
Thanks, everyone.
Salamat, Marimon.
That's one way to look at it, but the other way to look at it is, okay, maaari siya makitang mas impartial because he had already archived the first impeachment complaint, so now he gets another chance to...
Makikita siyang tainted kasi may accusations against him. So may leverage.
At meron siya mga plunder cases. Yun yung,
That's the leverage part on the administration side.
ano,
But what's the logic here? I mean, na-mention na rin ni Ed some
logic. Naghahanap ng logic. Nasa Pilipinas siya naghahanap.
Sige, ibulong mo pa.
Naghahanap ng logic. Sige, what's the logic?
napakababa ng anong bar ko eh.
What's the logic here?
The bar is so low na nga. I'm looking for logic in nakalimutan ko tuloy. What's the idea behind putting Chiz as the presiding officer here and not, for example, Senator Kiko Pangilinan?
Hindi, pinagpipilian pa rin nila. Wala pa namang final decision. Diba?
But some outlets are already reporting it's going to be
Yes.
Senator Chiz
Siyempre,
Escudero. Narinig din natin yun eh,
May
from
mga
ibang
lobbying,
sources.
meron ding outlet na si Kiko. May kanya-kanyang lobbying na yan. Baka siguro, ang tingin ng iba, mas legally sharp si Cheese. Mas marami siyang karanasan. No? Yung
Sa
iba,
impeachment, you mean? Or sa...
Kahit ano, abogado kailangan eh. So, sino sa dalawang abogado ang mas may legal background?
But does Cheese have a significant
Hindi,
weight in legal circles?
yung kanyang mga followers, yun ang tinutulak. No? Yung iba, si Kiko, although pinitik na ni Lawrence Kiko sa noted.
Yeah.
So, may
Parang
mga
ni Gloria.
may mga ganun na sila eh. No? May
Noted.
mga ganun na eh. No? Kaya, ang problema mo, dalawa lang pinagpipilian mo. Ang tingin naman kay Kiko, masyadong identified sa pink. Diba?
Yes, exactly. Either way, both of them are may mga perceptions na.
So either
on them.
masyadong identified sa pink or masyadong...
Identified sa Fort With.
Masyadong force with. Okay, we're gonna take a very quick break. You're watching Storicon 1 News. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.
We've got developing news in the stories behind headlines. I'm Ed Lingao.
Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Regina Lay, and still with us, the resident political unpaid hack, Ronald Llamas.
Akala ko marway, nakalimutan ni Ed yung pangalan niya.
Nabitin ako dun eh.
So, minsan din, nangyayari sa akin. I forget, who am I introducing? Teka lang, you wanna continue your conversation?
No. It's all off the record.
Off the record, sorry, off the record.
Sometimes mo kasi things are not what they appear to be.
Oh, things are always not what they appear to be. That's why we always have to dig deeper.
Tapos
Tapusin ko lang,
kasi mahilig bumulong-bulong pero may microphone eh.
just
Bubulong
like,
sa kaliwa pero may microphone nasa kaliwa.
just like wala daw ako logic.
Hindi, naghahanap siya ng logic. Hindi ko sinabing wala siyang logic. Problema ka sa kanya, masyadong logical.
Pero ang dalawa doon talaga.
These are not logical.
No.
These moves are not
No.
logical. Walang strategy.
Oo.
Walang strategy
Karamihan
dito.
ng logical nasa kuweba. Karamihan.
That's why masaya sa kuweba eh. May logic doon. We're gonna pivot now to another news story. Authorities are actively conducting rapid damage assessments following yesterday's magnitude 7.9 earthquake in Sarangani. For updates, let's bring in the Office of Civil Defense spokesperson, Mr. Juni Castillo. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to Storycon.
Magandang hapon, sir.
Good afternoon, Regina. Good afternoon, Ed, and good afternoon, Ronald.
Okay. First of all, Ano po yung latest sa
Update,
situation on the ground? What is the assessment there?
Base po doon sa ginawang rapid damage and needs assessment, no, dito nga po sa nangyaring lindol kahapon, meron pong 32,926 no, na mga pamilya na apektado nitong lindol, no, coming from 160 barangays. These are coming from regions 9, that's 11, 12, and BARM. But out of those regions, it's really the regions 9, or rather that's region 11 and 12 that sustained the most significant impacts. Kasama po dito no, yung General Santos City at saka yung Sarangani Province.
Ano po yung latest tally of the casualties?
Ito nga po ano nakakalungkot Regina no as of this afternoon which we will verify no that will undergo verification and validation by the management of the dead and missing cluster. Meron na pong 37 or 37 po na mga hindi nakaligtas dito sa nangyaring lindol, and then meron din pong 488 na injured or mga nasugatan no, and then sa ngayon po ang report po ay meron pang 4 na missing persons or nawawala no, but then again this is more or less no, and this might be initial data pa rin no in terms of the missing persons.
Pero sir, have you been able to collate already all the information from all the barangays and the towns that were affected? Kasi, for example, dun sa bandang border ng Sarangani tsaka ng South Cotabato, bulubundukin yan tsaka puro rough road na yan eh. So may mga areas na baka hindi pa nakapag-update kung merong casualties or landslides or may areas na mga na-cut off.
Tama Ed no, dahil dun sa mga damage din sa mga roads and bridges, maaring mayroon pang po mga area na hindi pa po nakakapagpaabot ng mga reports nila dito no. Pero ganun pa man, nandun na yung ating mga rapid damage and needs assessment teams coming from the regional offices, and then ganun din from the national offices, no, national government agencies. In fact, sa amin sa OCD, nandun pa rin po si Yusek Harold Cabreros to oversee this Ardena no, operations. Ganun din yung mga search, rescue, and retrieval operations natin, no, mga personnels both from the local DRRM offices, ganun din dun sa mga local personnels nung ating mga national government agencies that are based doon sa mga lugar na ito.
Kumusta naman po ang mga basic infrastructure like electricity at water? Limawa kanina, kausap ko yung mga taga-Jensan, wala pa rin daw tubig o kuryente sa syudad.
Tama Ronald, no? Meron pang mga, wala pa pong mga kuryente at saka yung supply din ng tubig no, dahil affected din yung mga water supply and yung water utilities natin ano, so yung po ang challenge doon. That's why through the DSWD po no, and social welfare offices ng mga local government units ay nagpo-provide po ng mga pagkain, ng mga tubig inumin din po ano. Dito naman po sa linya ng kuryente, kanina po no, nagbigay na ng ulat ang Department of Energy no, para nga po dito sa mga power plants po no, out of the 4 kasi no na kahapon ay na-report restored na daw po yung 2 doon sa power plants na yon. Pero yung mga gasolinahan po dahil apektado rin po no, so nagsusupply po tayo doon through the OCD din po no, the logistics cluster. We're providing supply of the fuel augmentation, and then ganun din po yung mga generator sets no, lalo sa mga critical na infrastruktura no, including hospitals dahil syempre po yung mga pasyente po no, at saka yung mga evacuated na mga OR wards no, so yung po ang pinoprovide natin. Doon naman po sa linya ng komunikasyon no, so far yung mga DRRM offices natin sa probinsya nakokontak naman po ito no, ganun din yung aming mga Office of Civil Defense ng Operations Center. Pero po siyempre doon sa general public no, may mga signal na wala. So ito naman po ay this will be provided for nung emergency telecommunications cluster natin led by DICT.
Sir, I was asking about yung mga liblib na lugar and if you had any contact with them already. Kasi even before the earthquake, for example, dyan lang sa border ng Tiboli tsaka ng Maasim, walang signal dyan eh. Tsaka walang kuryente eh. So that was even before the earthquake. So kung may nangyari sa kanila, well, we won't know until somebody goes and visits them eh. So that's why I was asking kung meron na kayong updates, if you've been able to collate all the information from all the barangays and all the towns already. If only to find out kung merong wala pang information na pumapasok na lugar.
Tama Ed, no? There are areas here that are considered GIDA, no, or the geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas, no. So itong mga GIDA, no, wala pa tayong datos ngayon dito sa national, no, kung ilan out of those GIDA areas, no, ang nakokontak na or hindi pa, no. Hopefully dito sa sinasagawa natin na RDA we'll be able to get that information, no, kung hindi man po bukas ay sa mga susunod na araw.
When you say 32,926 families were affected, do you mean evacuated or just generally affected? And kung evacuated man, nasaan po sila ngayon, sir?
Ito pong 32,900, ito po yung mga apektado, ano, meaning nakaramdam ng matitinding pagguga po ng lupa, ano, and then ganun din yung mga ilang pagguho, ano. Doon naman po sa mga evacuated na families, no, right now there is a recorded and reported po na 54 evacuation centers housing 8,700 families. Katumbas po ito, 31,000 mahigit na mga kababayan natin po ang nasa evacuation na areas. Some of which po, no, ay mga karamihan, no, open areas, no, with tents lang kasi nga po tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung mga aftershocks na nararanasan doon. So critical facilities have to be assessed first, no, bago maggamit ito as evacuation centers.
Baka matagal-tagal pa yung assessment of the structural damage bago makabalik yung mga affected families. But are you, sa mga evacuation centers, are they getting the help that they need?
Tama po, no. Hindi lang po, no, yung dahil sa critical infrastructures, even itong immediate po, no, yung aftershocks ay sabi nga po ng FIVOX ay maaring magtagal pa po ito ng ilang araw, ano. Doon naman po sa mga evacuation needs, no, ng mga kababayan natin doon, this is being taken care of by the social welfare and development offices, both from the local po, no, regional and then national, no. Ito pong camp coordination and camp management clusters. In fact po, sa DSWD po, kung datos ng DSWD, meron na pong na-provide, no, na mahigit na halos umaabot na po ng 3,000 family food packs at saka mga ready-to-eat foods ang distributed in these areas, no. And then ganun din yung mga non-food items. DOH is also taking care of the medical needs, no, of our kababayan sa loob ng evacuation center. And then ganun din po, na-report din kanina, no, na meron pong surge noong mga psychosocial services needs, no, mga trauma, kasi tuloy-tuloy pa nga rin po yung pag-uga, kaya nagtutulungan po doon yung DSWD, DOH at saka mga lokal na pamahalaan po para ma-address nga po itong pangangailangan ng mga kababayan natin in terms of psychosocial services.
Yung mga food packs, if I heard correctly, sir, sabi nyo umabot na sa mga over 3,000 families, no? But I noted as well that more than 31,000 families are in evacuation centers. So mas marami pa yung kailangan nyo. Is the government responding fast enough?
Opo, ito pong ating mga family food packs, no, food and non-food items, no. So far, sabi naman po ng DSWD, hindi pa ito kukulangin, no. But then again, kailangan kasi yung mga preposition doon sa mga katabing bayan, katabing probinsya, no, ay maipadala kaagad dito sa mga areas na ito. Ito pong mga na-release po ng mga family food packs, no, ay ito yung report nila as of kahapon, no. So hopefully po, no, we'll get that another information and update, no, kung ilan na po ang na-provide ngayon. Pero so far po, sabi ng DSWD, hindi pa po tayo mangangailangan ng mga ayuda po from other agencies or from the private sector. But then again po, ang sinasabi lang naman ng DSWD, kapag ka po those private sectors or other agencies, no, that would want to help, no, ay mag-coordinate po, no, with the specific clusters para hindi lang ma-manage lang po, no, yung efficiency of the distribution and resources, no, para hindi lang po mag-clog or saka hindi rin po ma-concentrate into some areas, no, kundi ma-distribute po properly.
The search and rescue operations are ongoing, sir, or you've called it off?
Not yet, no. Since yesterday, ang tuloy-tuloy po is search, rescue, and retrieval. We still hope, no, itong na mga nawawala, missing persons, no, again, we say it's more or less 4 pa lang ngayon, no? Pero hindi tayo sigurado kung meron pa. So tuloy-tuloy pa rin po yung search, rescue, and operations. This is again still led by local DRRM workers and responders, no? Pero naka-augment na po yung BFP, yung Armed Forces of the Philippines, PNP, no? PCG, para po doon sa mga ongoing na search, rescue, and retrieval operations. Naka-standby din po yung mga other response teams, no, even from the NCR and from the other regions. Pero ang pakiusap lang po, bago po mag-deploy o magpadala doon or pumunta doon, ay makipag-coordinate po muna, no, para maiwasan natin yung pag-swarm in po, no, nung napakaraming mga rescuers, no, just like what happened in Bugo at that time, na sobrang dami na pong rescuers na pumunta, hindi na na-manage, and then nahirapan po yung mga relief goods, no, na makapasok. So yung po, we request those response teams to coordinate first before going there.
Maayos naman yung coordination dyan, sir.
So far po, we were getting information na nag-coordinate muna yung mga response agencies through OCD or dun sa mga lokal na pamahalaan po bago magpadala doon ng teams. Pero again po, naka-standby itong marami nating mga responders.
Okay, that's very good to hear. We'll leave that there. Thank you so much for talking to us and giving us that update. That was the Office of Civil Defense spokesperson, Mr. Juni Castillo. Salamat, sir. Ingat po.
Thank you, sir.
Salamat po. Salamat po.
And we are on until 5:30 p.m. Storcon will be back after a quick break. Please stay tuned.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.
Welcome back to StoryCon. I'm GLA.
And I'm Ed Lingao, and of course with us, our resident political perpetrator, agitator, and conspirator, Mr. Ronald Llamas.
Pati ako, nalito na. Ano ko?
Saan ka naman
Multiple choice ka,
lulugar?
di ba?
Saan ka naman lulugar niya? Is his favorite line.
Basta hindi ako logical yun.
Unlike,
Hindi ko i-claim yun.
unlike who? Na naghahanap ng logic. Unlike?
Yung mga tika Bloomberg na lasalista.
Teka lang, I wanted to finish reading the statement of Senator Alan Peter
Ay,
Cayetano.
oo.
May bago?
Mahaba kasi yung statement niya regarding today's news of the alleged security threat, and part of the second half of his statement said
Hirap
a,
kasing mag-statement yan pag kasama ka sa security threat.
a clearly partisan NBI that was itself a party to violence within these walls cannot credibly appoint itself the guardian of our safety. That's obviously a direct hit at NBI Director Melvin Matibag. Since when has the NBI been the lead agency on matters of national intelligence and security? Where in all of this are the armed forces of the Philippines and the Philippine National Police? Has this so-called intelligence been validated by the NICA, the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, or by anyone in the intelligence community? There is also the matter of how such information is handled. A genuine threat to the institution should be shared across the entire body. And the timing demands honesty. This threat surfaces precisely as the testimonies made in the latest Blue Ribbon Committee hearing begin to press for answers from the names it has raised. These are not partisan questions. They are questions of governance, which is why we should never take such information at face value.
But you know, what's also interesting is naglabas ng magkaiba at contradictory memos yung si Cayetano at saka si
Win Gatchalian. Just now.
Today, si Win Gatchalian muna, in light of the security threat information relayed by the NBI and to allow the conduct of necessary security assessments, inspections, and all that, all Senate Secretariat and Senate employees are authorized to work from home for Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday, of course, is a holiday. So, work from home ang Senado ng Wednesday and Thursday. Pero si Alan Peter Cayetano naglabas ng sariling memo today na ang working hours until Thursday will be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
In relation dun sa memo ni Alan Peter Cayetano, Ang NICA kasi hindi yan mahilig maglabas ng kanilang intelligence
Of course,
report
they never talk.
in public.
And I know
diba?
because I've actually been at several events with NICA officers and they're so tight-lipped. Hindi
Yeah.
talaga sila
Ang
nagsasalita.
ibibrief nila, yung boss, yung presidente, or yung heads ng ating defense or law enforcement agencies. Pero
Hindi
nila
tayo.
announce yan.
Hindi media, hindi
Kalawa, lalo hindi
anybody
nila
else.
isi-share yan kung kasama dun sa pag-sharean ay kasama dun sa security threat. Wala naman ako nais ipaiwatig.
except
Except, hindi mo sigurado kausap mo eh. So,
although yung sa memo ni Senator Cayetano, he says all employees are expected to observe the prescribed working hours and ensure punctual attendance and compliance with office regulations. So, magkabaliktad, no? Senator
Work
Vin
from home
Gatchalian
versus
said-
8 to 5.
Yeah, Senator Gatchalian and these are memos issued just off the one after the other, just this afternoon.
halimbawa,
So,
kung napanood nyo yung crowd of supporters nila Alan Peter, nung nag-hold sila nung kanilang Blue Ribbon Committee meeting, matindi ang sigaw. Maliban sa nakipagsuntukan sa labas at nakipagbatuhan, ang sigaw nila ay sunugin ang
Yeah.
Kongreso.
Yeah.
Sunugin ang Malacanang, no? Etc. So, bakit mo naman share ng intelligence reports yung mga na-identify doon? Yun yung logical.
still a lot of very big questions.
Okay, let's move on. And also, another story naman, joining us this afternoon is Police Colonel Percival Pineda, ang Acting Provincial Director ng Aurora Police Provincial Office. This is about yung dalawang
A very
Ateneo
tragic
basketball
drowning
players.
Yes,
of
yes.
the Ateneo basketball players.
Drowned yesterday. Sir, magandang hapon po and welcome to Storycon.
Magandang hapon din po at sa ating po mga tagapakinig.
Hapon.
I note that you held a press conference this afternoon, Colonel, and you called it the incident purely accident. Sabi niyo po that parang natural accident po yung pangyayari, hindi po talaga inaasahan at wala tayong nakitang foul play sa aksidente na ito. Could you walk us through your process of how you got here?
Apo, tama po yun. Base nga po sa aming mga nakaalap na falesa ng ating mga witnesses ay sa ngayon po purely accident po yung lumalabas doon po sa aming mga initial na interview sa mga witnesses po.
Yes, sir.
Ngayon lumalabas po na dalawang version. Yung isang version ay nasa gitna sila ng training. Yung isa naman ay they were just casually walking dun sa beach na knee-length in water. So, ano ba talaga? Magkatunggali ba yung version na yon or ano po?
Apo, actually po yung kasama po sa sinasabi nilang training yung paglalakad. Meron po silang hanggang bewang na naglalakad sila sa tabing dagat. At yung nga po biglang napapunta sila sa medyo may malalim na portion nung nilalakaran nila at kung po nangyari yung aksidente.
So, hindi siya casual na naglalakad lang sila. Part ng training nila yon.
Sir,
Opo. Yun po ang basis po sa salaysay.
Sir, can you kwento naman yun naman sa amin how you conducted the investigation? Did you only talk to witnesses or you have officers on the ground collecting evidence as well? And could you also talk us through exactly how the two gentlemen died?
Opo, meron po tayong mga tao na pumunta ron. Actually, nandito pa po kami sa police station at patuloy po rin yung ginagawa namin na investigasyon. Kumakala pa po kami ng mga ibang ebidensya at yung mga, kung meron pa po kami pwedeng ma-interview ng mga witnesses para po talagang makapagbigay tayo ng concrete na findings. Yung nga po, tabawag po sa atin yung MDRRMO ng bayan ng Dipakulaw at nireport nga po yung insidente. At immediately nakapag-proceed naman po yung first responders natin sa area. But yung nga po nung dumating sila ron ay nire-revive na po yung isang victim. At yung sila na po yung kasama na po sila sa nagdala sa nearest hospital.
So, the investigation is ongoing. So, itong sinabi niyo po this afternoon na purely accident itong insidente na to, hindi pa po ito final?
Sa kanina po kasi nung nagpabigay tayo ng press conference ay doon po tayo nag-rely sa mga ebidensyang hawak natin, sa mga witnesses na hawak natin. Kaya po na initially nakapagbigay kami ng pahayag na ito ay purely accident.
But
Pero yung nga po, sa ngayon po, nagkakala pa tayo na mas maraming mga witnesses para mas lalo pa nating mapatibay yung ating magiging conclusion.
Sir, but if I may ask, sir, I understand what you're saying that it's purely accidental from your perspective. Pero sir, without making any presumptions on my part, without making any other conclusions, is it possible that there was also negligence? I mean, kasi when you say accident, ibig sabihin walang malis and that's fine. But at the same time, even negligence also has no malice involved it simply is about
negligence or recklessness?
not being able to take certain precautions on the part of certain people. Again, not making any presumptions anywhere or making any conclusions. Kasi there is such a thing as, for example, when there's an accident, there is such a thing pa rin as reckless imprudence resulting in homicide. Not saying that this is what the case is there, but I'm asking you, sir, kung ito ba ay sinara na ninyo ang pintuan dito sa posibilidad na ito, or you're saying basically that there is nobody with any liability at all?
Ayun nga po sir, kasama po natin ngayon sa investigasyon yung mga counterparts natin sa ibang agency. At naghahanap pa po tayo ng kung meron po mga makikita tayo na kung meron po mga ebidensya na biglang nakita tayo na pwede magkaroon ng gano'n sa sinasabi nyo, ay gagawin po natin. Pero sa kayo po, sa interview na nakita natin, doon po sa account ng lifeguard ay talaga pong purely accidental yung nangyari.
So, it sounds like hindi pa final itong findings niyo, Colonel. Because on the one hand, you're saying that the investigation is ongoing. On the other hand, nagbigay ka ng press conference this afternoon saying it's purely accident and walang foul play. And which one is it?
Opo, yung kayo na nga po, nakapagbigay pa tayo ng ganong statement dahil based po sa account na nakuha natin ay purely accident. Kaya, pero sa ngayon po, hindi pa naman po natin sinasara yung investigasyon at kumakala pa po tayo na mas maraming witnesses para kaya po naman sabi tayo mas matibay yung ating pong gagawin conclusion.
Okay. Kayo po ang presiding officer doon sa Aurora, no? Baka pwedeng describe niyo na lang po sa amin yung area niyon. Kasi ako hindi ko kabisado yung Dipakulaw Hindi ko alam, for example, gaano kalakas yung current doon and what conditions might have been different that day na na-aksidente itong dalawang atletang ito. Maybe you could describe that to us, that area. Talaga bang it's a really dangerous area? Is there always a rip current?
Nangyaring ganyan?
Opo, yung pong area na ito, nung doon sa may barangay Lipit, kung saan po nangyari yung aksidente, ay siya po yung lugar na kung saan pagka wala pong alon sa Bateng Baler, dito po pupunta yung mga surfers natin. Ibig sabihin po, yung lugar na yun ay talagang surfing area. At base po sa nakausap ko na isang surfer natin, ay talagang lagi po may strong current sa lugar na yun.
Palagi may strong current.
Apo, sa lugar po na yun. At yung nga po, biglang lalim talaga yung lugar na yun pagdating sa ito pong lugar na ito.
May mga signages ba? May mga karatula, warning of the dangers of that area?
Meron naman po lagi yan sa ating sa mga resorts. Lagi po merong nakalagay na pala ng mga ganyan. May mga safety na pinapalabas.
May I know sino mga witnesses na ang na-interview niyo, sir? Sino mga eyewitnesses?
So, na meron po kaming initial na interview sa lifeguard, tapos sa membro ng MDRRMO, saka po sa staff ng team.
Staff ng team, NDRRMO official, and yung lifeguard.
Yung lifeguard po.
Nagtutugma naman yung mga testimonya nila. Their testimonies
lahat
align.
po ay nagtutugma.
Okay.
Apo.
And yung the officers that you have on the ground that are still collecting evidence, what are they looking for?
Yun po, sa ngayon po, yung pang witness lang po ang, kung meron pa pong ibang witnesses na pwede tayo may interview, yun po yung ginagawa po namin ng paraan ngayon.
What time po kayo natawagan about this tragedy? What time were you brought to the scene?
Around 3:15 po kahapon,
PM, 3:15 PM.
tamag po yung MDRRM at nga po binanggit yung aksidente.
So pagdating niyo dun sa scene, sir, ano po yung nakita niyo?
Yun po, yung isa po ay nabutan doon sa area na nire-revive. At yun po, dinala na po agad sa hospital.
Could you confirm reports that there were originally 3 of them? Yung isa na nasalba lang, he was saved, that's why he didn't drown. Could you confirm that?
Meron actually po apat yung na allegedly na nalunod, pero po yung dalawa ay nakabalik. Tapos po yung dalawa ay nawala.
4. There were
Apat po.
because we heard that there were 3 who got caught up in the rip current, pero isa he was saved. So 4 originally.
Apat.
The two
Apat
of-
po yung
Meron bang according to the witnesses that you spoke to, meron bang nag-attempt na i-rescue tong mga to?
Opo, yung ano nga po, yung lifeguard, ano po siya kaagad. Meron po siyang ginagamit na surfboard, yun po yung rescue niya. Ano po siya kaagad, naka-attend po agad.
So the lifeguard was on site.
Opo.
And what were the conditions that morning? Bakit why were the boys were not saved? Why were they not saved?
Yung nga po, yung bigla po silang nahila sa mas malayo na parte ng dagat at hindi na po sila nakita. So nagkaroon po agad ng paghahanap. At yung nga po, after several minutes bago po sila nakita.
Could you also confirm, sir, if the boys were swimming with ankle weights?
Ayan po, wala po. Based po sa statement ng ating mga nakausap, wala po silang nakitang any kind of that.
Sorry, nakitang any kind of what?
Uncle Waits.
Yung ganun pong mga sinasabi na may mga weights, wala pong sinabi yung ating mga.
Because there were several reports that surfaced already saying that claiming that the boys were all swimming with ankle weights on. So you investigated that and wala kayo nakita.
Apo.
And so you're continuing on with the investigation, and are you coordinating with the school, with Ateneo, for this?
Sa ngayon po, nakipag-usap kami dito po sa pamunuan ng NDRRM at saka yung management po ng resort. Dito lang po muna kami nagpo-focus.
Colonel, tanong ko lang po para po malinaw. So sa ngayon po wala kayong nakikitang dahilan, tama ba, na tingnan kung merong liability ang sinuman dito sa nangyari? Did I get that right? Yan ho ba yung inyong, kasi pag sabi po kasi ninyong purely accident, kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, aksidente, maaaring may liability, maaaring merong wala but the impression I was getting was parang wala kayong nakikitang may liability. Tama ho ba yun? Meron ho ba kayong titingnan liability or wala ho?
Sa ngayon po, wala po kami nakikitang hindi pa po namin ma-ascertain. Hindi natin ma-ascertain kung meron pong liability yung management. Pero based sa cost ng mga statement ay talaga po ang kwento yung pangyayari.
You're not able to ascertain liability at this stage. Will you be investigating or looking into the school as well? And na-mention nyo na po, nakausap nyo na po yung resort, pero what about the school?
Pag-usapan po namin yan, meron po kami ongoing na meeting ngayon with the other involved agencies. Pag-usapan po namin yan.
Okay, we'll leave that there. Thank you so much for joining Storycon and giving us an update. That was Police Colonel Percival Pineda, Acting Provincial Director of the Aurora Police Provincial Office. Salamat, sir.
Thank you, Colonel.
Sige po. Lahat po. Salamat po.
The family of the late student athlete Rene Baterbonia is in Manila to claim the remains of the basketball player. Rene died along with fellow student athlete Divine Adili in a drowning incident during the Ateneo Blue Eagles team building activity in Aurora. For the latest, we have News 5's Mon Gualvez. Mon, anong latest sa investigasyon sa insidente?
Bok, ang pamilya ni Rene Baterbonia, yung incoming first-year college student na nasawi nga dito sa pagkalunod sa ginawang team building activity ng Ateneo Men's Basketball Team, talagang nagtataka at talagang ikinagulat kung anong klaseng training as they actually called it as military training pala ang sinamahan daw ng anak dito nga sa Dipaculao, Aurora. Nagpaalam naman daw ang anak nila pero hindi naman daw nasabi kung anong klaseng training. They're actually confused. Why did the training went in a swimming way na hindi naman daw nila inaasahan? Ang in-expect nila ay training ng basketball training na mga nasa court lang at saka ilang physical activities pero ikinabigla and they are actually dismayed sa mga kumakalat sa social media na may mga ankle weights pero narinig ko nga kanina hindi kinonfirm ng PNP na meron nga daw ankle weights or 20 kilos sa paa habang sila ay nasa parte ng dagat na nagtitraining itong ang mga basketball players. Ang nakakadurog lang ng puso, ito kasing 19-year-old player, sobrang excited itong maglaro para sa Ateneo Ateneo Men's Basketball Team. At ang pinangako pa nga niya sa kanyang pamilya ay talaga iaahon nila sa hirap itong kanyang mga kaanak dahil talagang kapos sila sa buhay. Pangalawa siya sa 7 magkakapatid at talagang nananawagan ng hustisya ang nanay ng biktima dahil para sa kanya, kahit sabihin daw ng mga pulis na walang foul play na nangyari, sa initial namin na pakikipag-usap sa kanya, meron daw na naging pagkukulang sa nangyaring training at hindi rin daw ganoong kaagad nabibigyan sila ng impormasyon sa mga nangyari sa kanyang anak dahil noong kagabi or kahapon nang ipinaalam sa kanyang nasawi nga ang kanyang anak, yun lang daw ang tanging information na nakarating sa kanya. Wala na daw mga other updates, particularly kung nakuha na ba ang katawan, ang labi ay dinala na ba sa Manila, yung mga ganong klaseng mga updates ang inaasahan daw ng pamilya, bagay na hindi daw nagawa sa kanila. At wala rin daw nakipag-ugnayan pa sa kanila until this afternoon ng mga taga Ateneo de Manila University. Kaya iyon ang ilan sa mga kinakasama ng loob nila. Pero ngayon, pinuntahan na ng pamilya ang labi ng kanilang anak sa isang punerarya dito sa Quezon City at inaantabayanan lang namin dahil nga dumating na rin ang ilang mga tauhan ng universidad at may mga CIDG personnel din na palabas-pasok dito sa naturang funeral homes dito sa Quezon City. Pok.
I suppose you heard our interview kanina with Colonel Percival. Sabi nga niya, walang foul play. Pero our point kasi kanina was, kahit walang foul play yan, hindi ibig sabihin na walang liability. Kasi nga, aksidente kung aksidente, pero sa aksidente, minsan meron pa rin may liability.
Kulang sa safety precautions.
Yan din ang iniinsist ng nanay ng biktima na may managot sa nangyari dito sa pagkasawi ng kanyang anak dahil nga kung totoo man na may nangyaring araw na kapabayaan, hindi daw sapat na palagpasin na aksidente lang ang nangyari dahil pangarap daw ng anak niya ang talaga nawala na rin ng basta-basta dito sa incidenting ito. Pok.
Yeah, again, without presuming anything, without taking anybody's side, yun lang, para lang malino sa lahat. Pag sinabing aksidente, hindi ibig sabihin na pag aksidente isang bagay, hindi ibig sabihin na walang pananagutan.
He sounded pretty sure kasi na no foul play, purely accident, and that's why we kept coming back to
mayroon bang
the
liability.
investigation.
Kasi Article 365 of the Revised Penal Code is yung reckless imprudence resulting in homicide. Not to say that this is what it is, pero yun nga just because you dismiss it as no foul play does not mean everybody's off the hook.
Mon,
initially Regina, initially may nabanggit din yung nanay ng biktima na may mga pasado yung anak niya na nakita. So, yun yung ilan pa sa inaalam. So, I don't know kung ito dahil sa current na tamama ang anak niya sa mga ilang bato sa dagat, or anong man nangyari kung bakit nagkaroon ng mga pasa. No?
Yeah.
So yes, Regina.
Mon, it really is a heartbreaking story. It's a heartbreaking tragedy. And did I hear you correctly? The school hasn't called his mother? Hindi pa niya nakakausap yung Ateneo?
Not until this afternoon, no? So mula kahapon daw hanggang kaninang tanghali, wala raw silang natanggap na komunikasyon mula sa Ateneo de Manila University, and ang tumulong nga sa kanila makarating dito sa Maynila ay yung provincial government na ng Agusan del Sur. Doon na sila lumapit dahil talagang wala silang budget papunta dito sa Manila. Kaya ito yung ilan sa mga, kumbaga, dinagdag pa sa sama ng loob ng family while yung once nila na makita na kaagad yung labi ng kanilang anak. So, we are not yet sure kung dito ba ibuburol ang anak kasi nag-provide ng funeral homes ang Ateneo de Manila University, pero for sure dadalhin nila pabalik sa Agusan del Sur ang remains ni Rene Baterbonia.
How is that acceptable? So, sino ang tumawag sa kanya if it wasn't the school?
I think meron daw tumawag. I'm not yet sure. I'm not that sure kung ito ay taga part ng coaching staff or from the police, no? So, yun lang ang sinasabi niya. May nag-inform naman sa kanila na may nasawi. I mean na masawi nga yung anak niya, pero yung other updates na tuloy-tuloy na mabigyan sana siya ng mga information, yun daw yung doon sila nakulangan at doon lang daw sila parang nalungkot, no? Technically.
Naalala ko kasi late 70s, early 80s, nag-organize ako dyan sa Aurora, sa Baler, San Luis, Kasiguran, Tipakulaw. No? So, usually kasi pag may kanyang training, mga safe areas yan Usually mga swimming pools, no? Or mga talagang yung may harang na mga beaches. Dahil yung area
Hindi
na yan,
yung open water where there's rip currents.
Harap yan ng Pacific Yan usually ang unang tinatamaan ng mga bagyo, mga typhoons, no? Kaya, pero ngayon lang kasi nagkaroon ng mga resorts dyan
Yeah.
Dati wala masyadong resorts dyan. At dati, ang papunta from Manila, papunta dyan, mahigit sang araw ang biyahe. Dahil kung pa yan lubak-lubak, wala pang semento. Ngayon, mabilis na lang. Dahil nga naayos na yung mga kalsada. Pero yung mga lugar na yan, medyo delikado talaga yan dahil sa undertow.
Yeah.
Bigla kang sisip-sipin yan Kahit medyo mababaw yung kwan, hindi mo sigurado yung sisip-sip sa'yo sa ilalim.
Maraming areas na gano'n. Hindi mo makikita that there's a rip current, right?
Kaya kung may ganong klaseng history lugar, dapat hindi ka doon nagtitraining. Of course, hindi natin alam yung buong story.
Hindi ko alam kung nabanggit sa inyo, Ronald, Regina, and Bok, kung nabanggit ba ng Aurora Police na kasi ang sinasabi nila kanina sa press conference na this is not the first time that the Ateneo de Manila University or the Ateneo men's basketball team had this kind of training in the same area. Kaya kumbaga parang kabisado na raw ng mga coaching staff and even the private resort. Ang narinig ko lang kasi kanina, they insisted that there is a lifeguard that on duty that time.
I mean, we know that already from old interviews that have surfaced of former Blue Eagle players, diba, that have said pina-training din sila. Sean Ildefonso, for example, or Mike Nieto have gone on the record saying they've also had that experience and it was very difficult. Parang boot camp talaga nga ang tawag nila dyan. But the question as well is, ano ba yung conditions there? And we are just very puzzled why it sounded like the investigation. Well, he says he wasn't closing the door on the investigation, pero he sounded sure na there's no foul play, it's purely accident, and that was that. So that's what I was just coming back to.
Siguro baka iniisip niyang foul play ay iba.
Baka iba yung foul play.
Yung
Mon,
safety lapses.
Let's also not forget there is another player involved here, si Divine Adili. I wonder if nakausap mo na rin yung pamilya niya, and also as far as si Rene Baterbonia is concerned, what does his mother want from the school at this point?
Well, kanina, sa side ni Rene Baterbonia, yung mother niya insists na talagang they're calling for justice. Hindi lang nila alam kung paano makakamit yan dahil wala raw talaga silang pera. Kaya kung may tutulong daw sa kanila, better para talaga makamit daw nila yung hustisya. Yan yung huling panayam namin sa kanya doon sa airport pagdating nila dito sa Manila from Agusan del Sur. On the other hand, dito naman sa side ni Divine Adili, a sophomore student dito nga sa Ateneo, wala dito yung family niya. No? He is a Nigerian national, import siya ng Ateneo men's basketball team. Pero may nakausap kami kanina na fellow Nigerian national ni Divine, and he's the one speaking with from the school. I think he's also a coach, basketball coach, and then ang sinasabi nga niya, they are now actually coordinating, the family is coordinating with the embassy para nga talaga makuha rin yung remains naman ni Divine Adili. Regina.
Oh my gosh. Hindi pa rin natin alam, baka hindi pa rin natawagan yung pamilya niya or something. Okay, we'll leave that there. Thank you so much for your updates. That was News 5 correspondent Mon Gualvez. We also have a soundbite of the mother of Rene Baterbonia who was interviewed just a few hours ago. Take a listen.
Alam niyo po ba magkakaroon sila ng training ng gano'n?
Sir, kung pumunta kami dito sa Maynila, sabi nila, nag-usapin kami nila. Kung nag-orient sila, hindi talaga nila sinabi na magkakaroon ng training na gano'n. Kasi kung sinabi pa lang nila, matanong ko na sa anak ko, kaya mo ba yun? Para madesisyonan namin. Hindi ko alam ba't gano'n ang nangyari. Bigla na lang nag-text yung anak ko, sabi niya 1 week siguro wala akong cellphone. Kasi yung may training kami dun sa Baler. Tapos sabi niya, hindi pwede daw mag-cellphone. Sabi ko, sige na, please, mag-amping. And then, dapat ingatan yung katawan kasi isa lang yun. Kasi akala ko training lang na hindi military training. Ano ba yun? Tapos, yun na. Wala na siyang cellphone ng Sunday, Saturday. Wala na siyang cellphone hanggang Sunday nga. Tapos, bigla na lang may nag-message sa akin. Sinabi na, hindi pa po, tumawag ako sa'yo. Tapos, hindi naman siya tumawag. Ako na lang yung tawag. Pagtawag, tumawag na po. Sabi niya, ma'am, aksidente po si Rene. Nalunod po. Yun, malaking talagang tanong ko. Ba't napunta doon sa lagat? Kasi basketball naman yung anak ko, hindi naman swimming.
So that was the mother of Rene Baterbonia, the Ateneo Blue Eagle basketball player, incoming Ateneo Blue Eagle basketball player, who drowned in Aurora, Baler. Or Baler, Aurora, I should say, yesterday. And yun nga, nakausap natin si Police Colonel Percival.
Pineda.
I forgot his last name, I apologize. Pineda, Percival Pineda, who is acting division chief of the police, and he says no foul play involved.
No foul play, purely an accident.
At this point, although sabi niya they're also not closing the door on holding anyone accountable, given that they are still conducting investigation on the ground. But really surprising to me how this is being handled, especially by the school. Kung totoong hindi nila tinawagan yung pamilya ng mga namatay, that's just a disgrace. Divine Adili is the other player that perished in Baler. Okay. Naman na yung pagte-text, boys. There is a show going on.
Si Principal. Kasi, ang gloomy.
Hindi ko naman full-time job ito. Yung full-time job ko.
Huwag mo na ibulong ko. Naman, no?
Hindi na pag unpaid hack.
Unpaid hack. There's also a statement by hindi, nabasa na pala ni Ed yung dalawang statements that just came out from the Senate.
Balik tayo sa Senate.
Bawal daw ang media sa Senate premises is the latest that we got from our journalist Merimon Reyes over there.
Habang work from home sila.
Habang work from home.
Ano yung logic doon?
The logic is, I guess, they're treating this Senate threat seriously, not taking their chances, and pinauwi yung mga staff, and they're calling it a very serious threat to the Senate.
Na kine-question nila Alan dahil hindi naman daw mga military yung nagbigay ng intelligence report. NBI lang daw.
Yes.
No? At saka kailangan daw i-share sa all. So yung itong
Tama naman.
ito,
I see his point that it has to be cascaded to all the senators, right? Hindi lang just a few. Although, of course, that's one side of the story. We don't know how exactly it was disseminated.
Wala silang chatbook.
Puro bad news. I mean,
Hindi naman.
wala
Sige nga, saan ang glass half full mo?
wala tayong good news to end the show on.
Yung nireject na yung kwan.
Tragedy after tragedy.
Nireject na yung signature sharing.
Kapon pa yun eh. Good news na kahapon si Ronald. Good news ba yun?
I'm not too sure. Depende which cup.
Sorry.
I don't
Yan.
think so,
Sabi ko
but
sa'yo.
okay. But that is all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for joining us. Storycon's political pundit, Ronald Llamas. Join us again tomorrow at
Had to
4
spit it
p.m.
out.
For Storycon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao. What did we hear? One news all sides all the time.
Mga pala, I think
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.